Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, everybody, and happy Saturday. If you are brand new here, welcome on in, guys. We are third degree laser. We're going to be doing what's called an acrylic blank tutorial. We're going to show you how to take an acrylic blank. So this is cut out of acrylic. It is clear in color and has brown paper on it. So we're going to show you how to take this lovely acrylic blank and make it into a finished project. Good morning, Pam. Good morning, guys. Here are some examples of items we have done here on our lives. We've got our little Bride of Frankenstein. We've got our spooky set from Hocus Pocus with our matching patterned vinyl. We have a little s'more that we did. So lots of options, guys, to choose from. We do offer over 1,000 different shapes and sizes. Here's another one. So we've done lots of examples here on the live, from holographic to SVGs to pre-cutted details to this lovely bubble effect. Lots and lots of stuff. So today we're going to be working on what is called the rub and buff method. We're going to be using some of this beautiful chrome flakes. This color is called Sunset. And just look at that beautiful like orange and yellow shifting. And these are from AB Design Co. So we're going to be using some of this, and let's get started, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, hello. Okay, so we're going to be working on the shape called Empowered Women. So Empowered Women, empower women. We printed it on our holographic vinyl, so you can get your vinyl holographic, or you can just get it where it is matte white like this. Totally up to you. And let's get started. So the first thing you're going to need to do is figure out which side is the front and the back of your decal. Usually it's pretty easy to determine. You could just put it right on top of the acrylic blank. You're going to put a light source behind it, and this little white part here is going to essentially become pretty transparent. You can see through it, and you'll be able to tell that your blank is just lined up perfectly onto your decal is lined up perfectly on your acrylic blank, and you can determine which side is the front and which side is the back. So this side here is going to be our front, and we're going to flip it over. We're going to actually be decorating the back side first. Now this method can get a little bit, what's the word I want to use, messy. So we're going to lay a sheet of paper down to collect any of those chrome flakes that might kind of rub off and get all over the place. Now we're going to take this brown paper off. You can use something like a pick tool where it goes right underneath the layer of the brown paper. This can be, it can be okay. It just takes a little bit of effort to get it off the edge here. So there's that. Or you can just use your nail to go right under the edge of the paper, like so. And then the last method is a weeding pen. So instead of a pen, it's got like a little needle at the end here, and that can go right underneath the surface as well and pull that brown paper up. So whatever way you need to get that brown paper up, go for it. Okay, now once we have the brown paper off, we are going to be adding some UV resin onto our blank, just straight onto our blank. We're not going to add anything into it. So we're looking for a thin coat of UV resin. It doesn't need to be this big, thick, domed coat. Just a very thin coat for this particular process we're going to be doing. Thank you so much, Pam. Welcome in, everybody. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. So I'm just using a silicone brush here to gently pull from that large area of our UV resin and to push it out to the edges. Now I want it, like I said, a nice thin coat covering the entire surface. Pushing, pushing, pushing. And if you feel like you need to add more, that's not a problem. Just go ahead and squeeze some more into the middle. Now you'll be able to tell that it is laying flat and even when you can't see any of these little like bumps and divots that are in it. The great thing about epoxy and UV resin is that it likes to lay flat without any lumps or bumps in it. So it's going to do its magic and kind of even all of that out for you. If you don't feel like it's working, give it a couple of seconds, maybe 10, 20 seconds, and you'll start to see it filling those spots in. If you wait that couple of seconds and you're like, it's not filling those spots in, you can either A, kind of move some UV resin around that maybe is heavier in some other areas to fill those little areas in. Or if you're like, there's nowhere to pull from, I don't really have any extra epoxy anywhere to pull into that area, then just go ahead and add a little bit more of the UV resin. Okay, so she's looking pretty good. I'm going to hit it with I'm going to hit it with a little bit of heat. Thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. Thank you for the comments. Now you want to even it out or move it even a little bit more. Maybe it's not, laying as flat as you would like. If you give it a little bit of heat like this, it's going to just pop those little bubbles that maybe are on there. But the main thing why I'm doing it is it's going to warm the resin up and make it just a little bit thinner, which is again going to let it lay even flatter into those areas. So I can still see there's a little bit of areas right in the middle that are struggling. So I'm just going to put a tiny little dollop more. Perfect. And kind of spread it into those little areas that don't seem to want to pick up the resin. Just not enough right in those areas. Perfect. Okay, so she is looking fabulous. What we're going to do is we're going to grab our UV light. Now, you can buy several different UV lights. This one happens to have the ability for the change of the temperature or the watts it's putting out. Some lights, most lights, don't have the ability to change. So if you have a light that you only have one setting, not a problem. You can do this the same way I'm going to do it. So for me, I'm going to put it at the lowest temperature and I'm going to put it over it and then I'm going to give it a couple seconds and kind of let it ramp up. But if you don't have one, you can just hold it higher and that way the watts aren't so heavily on it. So just hold your lamp a little bit higher and it'll get less of that light. Now what we're trying to accomplish here is just a little bit of a cure. We're not trying to fully cure it by any means. We're going to do maybe 5-10 seconds. So I put it at a 12 watt. So you would be holding it up here higher if you didn't have the ability to change. But since I have it at a lower watt, I can put it right here. So that was 10 seconds. Now what you can do is you can either touch it with your finger. If you're not comfortable touching it with your finger, which I totally understand, you can use one of these little cots. These are called finger cots. They're basically like one glove fingers. And you can just touch it and you'll be able to tell, hey, is it leaving a little indent? Is it sticking to me? How tacky is it? So you can see on my finger here, see how it's a little wet still? That's perfect. It's not wet, it's just a little wet. So just a little tackiness. Now we can pull this little finger cot off or we can, actually I'm gonna leave it on and we're gonna start working with these chrome flakes. I'm just going to open my thing. It's gonna probably make a mess, so I'm gonna tap as much down from the lid as I can. And then we're just going to kind of sprinkle some of it. Ooh, it's making a mess. Ooh, hold it over it maybe. We're going to sprinkle with these fingers since we don't want to use this one because it's got a little bit of tackiness on it and we don't want to get that into our container here. So we're just going to grab with these other two fingers here. It's kind of like fish food. And then you're just going to kind of sprinkle it on top like this. Oop. Or dump big chunks like that. Either one works. And then we're going to close this up. I think that's more than enough of those chrome flakes. Okay, tap this little container off. Oh, the whole sky looks like it's glistening. And then we're just gonna rub this kind of into the resin. So I'm just using that cotted finger to slowly push this chrome flakes into the UV resin here. Okay, I'm just gently kind of spreading it out first to get started. Making sure we've got the chrome flakes on everything. Okay, just tapping, tapping. Tapping it into and kind of pushing it into that UV resin. Here's what we're looking like so far. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so we're just gonna keep going. Now I'm just kind of like gently rubbing it in and pushing it into that UV resin. I essentially want it to lay flat. So just keep rubbing. Rub. I'll show you what it looks like when I get to about half of it done. That way you can really get a good look at it. Now with this process, you can do one coat, and if you think you like the finished product, then you can just stop right there. You don't have to do 2 coats of it. If you find that it's not as pigmented or covered as you would like it, you can go ahead and do a second coat. That's totally acceptable. Ooh, look at my finger. So here is where we're at. This is the side I've done. You can see it's nice and flat. And then this is the side I still need to push into it. So it should be all flat like this when it's done. Okay, let's go ahead and continue. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Me too. I think it gives like just this beautiful finished project. I love this method in the sense of how beautiful the finished coverage is. So we're just rubbing and pushing those different layers into the UV resin to give it this nice, beautiful, like flat finish. Oh, so pretty. Almost done, guys. Now I will tell you that behind the scenes I've been working on 2 brand new methods that I have not seen acrylic blanks done, or slash I haven't taught you how to do it that way. So I've been testing them out off of the camera, and I'm pretty excited to say that they are working fabulous so far. So maybe next weekend we'll be able to show you a brand new technique that I've not showed you guys before. Okay, I think it is looking good. Here is what she's looking like. Oh, look at that stunning color. It's almost like a chrome. Oh, so pretty. Now if you have like, see how the edge here is kind of like not coated? I can just kind of swipe my finger kind of on that edge to pull some of that like chrominess off of there, and see now it's on there, and then I can just kind of tap it into the area. Okay, look at that, stunning. Okay, so it's still that little bit of tackiness. It's not what's the word I want to use? It's not fully cured. So we need to fully cure it. So at this point, now we're going to take our light and we're going to put it all the way to the top temperature, your regular temperature you would cure things at. And we're going to go ahead and fully cure it. So we're going to let it cure for the 2 minutes. I'm going to take this little this little cot thing off. And I'm going to wipe my hands up with a baby wipe. How beautiful was those colors? I'm so excited to see how this turns out. I have yet to use these sunset chameleon flakes yet. This would be my first time using this particular color, but they are pretty darn stunning. I love it. And again, these are from the company AB Design Co. I have not personally purchased from her. One of our beautiful customers sent me these to just try out, and I absolutely love them. So if you like these, give them a little shout out, follow moment. All right. Yeah, so Laura, it's totally up to you if you want to do a second coat. So depending on how see-through you want it to be, if you're just looking for a hint of glitter, kind of, you know, just what you would expect if you sprinkled the glitter on, usually one coat will do really well. And then a second coat would be amazing. Oh, yes. So for the resin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fully cure it like this, because we're fully curing that first coat of resin we put on it. Then when this is done, I will add a coat of clear resin on top of that to get that beautiful dome effect. So as soon as this layer of resin is completely done, we can go ahead and dome it up and be done with the back side. So yeah, you can add a second coat if you want for the coloring, but you definitely need to add a second coat, second/third coat if you add a second coat of the UV resin to really get that beautiful dome coat that we're trying to achieve. Okay, here we go. Let's take this bad boy out and see how it is looking. I'm gonna pull it off this paper here. There's still like crumb flakes everywhere, but that's okay. So here is what it's looking like. And you can put your finger on it. Not any really should come off. And it should be rock hard, fully cured, and just looking so beautiful. Okay, now we can go ahead and add that dome coat on it. Now, if you wanted this, like I said, to be darker or more pigmented, you could add another coat of UV resin. And what you can do as well, which I might do this time, is I'm going to add a little bit of glitter into that top coat as well. That way, we just give it even more glitter. Let's see how that looks. I'm going to grab a little measuring cup to put my UV resin in. Here we go. Now, to coat this, we're going to need about 2 to 3 milliliters of UV resin. Not very much at all, just a little bit on the bottom here. I'm going to grab some of this gold, and then I'm going to mix it with a little bit of orange and make like a gold orange mixture and put that on top of it. We're going to really like glam this thing up. Just a little bit of sparkle will never hurt no one. Perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and mix that in. Oh, perfect. Just an extra little layer of sparkle. Okay, as you can see, it's pretty see-through. We're not really adding a ton of glitter, just, you know, another little layer. We'll see how this looks. Okay, and I just put the glop right in the middle there, and then slowly pull it out to the edges. Ooh, wow, this is really pretty. It's like you get that beautiful little sparkliness from the glitter, but it has that beautiful underlaying of the chrome flaked coloring. So it's gonna give off that like reflective vibe when it shifts in the sun, I think. Ooh, I'm loving this combo. Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate it. If you guys have any comments, we definitely will try to help you answer them. Please make sure to subscribe if this is something you're interested in. We do go live every Saturday and Sunday from 10:30 a.m. to noon Eastern. I typically try to make 2 different projects every weekend, but sometimes we have a more complicated project and we'll only get to 1. But that's generally what I strive for, is 2. Okay, so I'm just pulling the last little bits of my UV resin from the cup just to cover this little last area. Don't forget around your little keychain hole. Perfect. Oh man, I'm so glad I added the glitter in. I think it makes such a big difference. I've never, oh, you guys are gonna love this because when the light hits it, it is so good. So good. All right, we're gonna take a little bit of heat just to pop any little bubbles that might be right under the surface. So light it up here, just briefly right over the top like that. I always recommend that you give it about 10 to 20 seconds for it to cool off before we put it under the lamp to cure, because those bubbles are still popping, so you got to give them a little bit of time to do their business. Otherwise, they will pop underneath your lamp and you'll end up with like a little divot or like a pothole in your finished project. Now I'm just touching up right around the edge. I remind you guys that sometimes the edge can be a little bit tricky. It likes to pull away from it. So we just always are mindful to touch the edge up one last time. Now we're gonna stick our cup, our acrylic blank, and our cup, acrylic blank, and our stick under the lamp here for 2 minutes while it cures. And I'll show you once it comes out how we can clean up the stick and use it again and again. All right, how has everybody's week been? It's been a really chill week over here. We've been watching lots of TV. We've been going on lots of walks. We've been trying to, at our house, we have like a little loop around our house that's about a little bit over a half a mile. So we've been trying to do it about 4 times a day, 3 to 4 times a day, and get our steps in. So we've been doing that. The weather is finally calming down. We were very lucky. The storm Helena hurricane hit the other coast and not our coast. So we are praying for those over in the Gulf that have been affected by it. Luckily on this side we got lots of rain, lots of wind, lots of debris that is knocked out of the trees. But for the most part, I think the only thing that even happened was my mom's cable line went down. But fingers crossed, we did really well for this hurricane. So that's really awesome. Not losing power is always a bonus. Yeah, so that's good. Let's see what else. What else? We do have a vacation coming up in a couple weeks here. So our shop will be closed for 2 weeks. We'll be announcing that in a couple of weeks or so, letting you guys know exactly when we're going to be closed. What else? What else? I've been watching lots of TV. But all right, we've got 20 seconds left under the clock here, guys, and then I'll take it out. I'll show you how it's looking, and we'll work on the other side. I'm going to show you how to add some bubblegum beads onto our keychain, and we'll turn this into a finished project in a blink of an eye. Just putting these chrome flakes back in with their little sisters. Okay, now what you want to do is clean up your cup. You can just give it a good crack and gently pull out that whole middle part. Now this part can go in the trash and we can keep our little cup to do it for the next project. Now the same concept goes with our little silicone stick. Just kind of crack it off and all of the little UV resin will come off and you'll have a clean brush to use on your next project. Now I've been tending to use these little brushes more than I've been using my silicone stir stick lately, and I'm really loving these little brushes. I feel like they help me move the UV resin around so nicely. Okay, so all of this little extra bits we can just toss right into the trash. Now if you look at my desk, you'll see that there's lovely chrome flakes everywhere. So I'm just going to take a baby wipe and clean that up. Now I do always recommend to you guys to make sure you're cleaning your surfaces between shapes or between different sides of it. If you have UV resin or epoxy spilled on your desk, it will stick to the other side even if it's fully cured. If you lay an uncured item on top of it, it will cure to the back, beautiful finished side, and nobody wants that. We don't want to ruin all the hard work we put into it. So let's not do that. Let's dry off any of this extra liquid that's on here and make sure we have a beautiful mat to start our next side of the project. Oh my gosh. You guys, this is stunning. Look at that with the chrome behind it. Wow. And then the glitter on top. I'm so glad I did the glitter. It makes such a difference. Like, you get that beautiful glittery shine, but then you get that gorgeous chrome sunset behind it. Oh, I'm loving it. Let's take the paper off the opposite side and then we can see directly through it and see how it turned out. Oh, so good. So good. So you can still see through it. It's not 100% transparent or solid. That's what I'm saying. If you want that solid look where you can't see through it, if you had done a second coat of the chrome flakes, you would definitely achieve that more solid look. But whoo-wee, this is stunning. Okay. Let's go ahead. We are going to add our decal onto the front of our acrylic blank here. Let me just grab a little bit of transfer tape. Perfect. And now we can just put that right on top of our pre-printed decal and give it a little rub. It made a difference, right? I think it looks so good. It's crazy how different it looks with the glitter. I've not added the glitter like that in the past, but man, what a beauty. All right, now you just take your decal and lay it right onto your acrylic blank here, and we're gonna gently push it flat, make sure that it has a nice adhesion. Perfect, and pull off our transfer tape. Look at how beautiful! So good. Stunning. So good. Okay, now on the front here, we're going to add that clear coat of UV resin. Nothing in it, just the beautiful resin right on the top right here. And then we can use our little brush to spread it out. Thank you to everybody who tuned in to join us this morning. We always appreciate your beautiful smiling words, since I can't say faces. But thank you so much for joining us, guys. We appreciate it. Okay, pulling from the middle. Spread, 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 spread. And then right around that little keychain loop. Okay, and now one more time right around the edges, making sure we didn't miss anything. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to hit it with a little bit of that heat to pop any bubbles and to assist in it laying super flat onto our blank. So a little bit of heat goes a long way. Go ahead and light it right here and briefly right across the top. Not too long. We don't want to catch it on fire. Just a little bit, and then let it kind of start to do its fill-in magic. If you find areas that aren't quite filled in, you can just tap them like this with your brush and kind of encourage UV resin into those areas. Beautiful. She is looking so good. I'm going to hit it one more time with the heat. Now, if you are going to do a second pass of the heat, that's totally fine. I always just recommend you give about 10-20 seconds for it to cool down before we hit it with that heat again. Like I said, this is flammable, so we don't want to do that. And we also want to give it adequate time to work its magic. You know, you have to be patient with it. Okay, I just saw one more spot I missed, so I'm just touching that up. Perfect. Okay, let's hit it with the heat one more time, see if that helps. Light it up here and briefly right across the top, just like that, guys. All right, now again, give it 10-20 seconds before either A, you put another pass of your heat, or B, you go ahead and put it under your UV lamp. So one last look at it, make sure it is beautiful. Once we put it under this lamp, we won't really be able to make any extra changes. So this is your last chance to go ahead and touch up any little mistakes before we get everything fully cured. All right, here we go. Let's put our stick and our acrylic blank under the lamp here for 2 minutes, guys. absolutely. So the brushes that you see me using, it comes in a 2-pack, just like this. This is the bigger one, and then the smaller one's under there. They're both, they're on our accessory section in our website. So you can get the little and the big one as like a 2-pack set, and they're silicone. Just be mindful that this part here, this metal part, is not silicone. So either A, you could wrap it with something like cling wrap if you're worried, or B, if a little bit of UV resin gets on there, whatever. It just can't be pulled off. But these, I really like these little brushes quite a bit. So yes, we have those in the accessories section. Yes, let's talk about Big Brother. It's time for our TV wrap up. This week I watched Love is Blind UK from the start to the finish. It was a pretty good season, if I do say so. They did just say that a second season of Love is Blind UK is on the way. That is exciting. I have yet to start The Circle. That is on my list, and I will get to it. We did just start watching something that is not reality TV called Nobody Wants This. I believe it is with Kristen Bell. It is a comedy on Netflix. It has about 10 episodes. They're short little 30-minute episodes, and it's pretty funny, guys. So I believe it's called Nobody Wants This, and it's on Netflix. Pretty good. We did finish The Menendez Brothers, so if you haven't seen that, The Monster, The Menendez Brothers is on Netflix. That turned out really good. Big Brother this week was a double eviction. I'm not going to talk about who got kicked off in case somebody hasn't watched it, but ooh, double evictions are always fun. At this point, I don't really care who wins the season. I don't really have a leg in the race. My love was really towards Quinn, so when he got voted out, I was pretty sad about it. So it's been a good week in reality and other TV. All right, let's go ahead and see how this bad boy is looking. Like I said about the little brush, just pop off that little bit of UV resin that's on there, and now your brush is completely clean. Set that to the side, and let's have a close-up of our finished little blank here. Oh, she is so pretty. Look at the way she shines and sparkles. I'm trying to get it close so you can really see all that beautiful glitter. Just look at that. And then that beautiful glossy coat on the front here. Like, come on, guys. Stunning. Yay. Okay, let's talk about adding on some bubblegum beads. Now, I picked out 3 beads for this beautiful project. I've got our sky blue, our purple solid, and then a beautiful pink rhinestone to go with it. And we're going to be using some 0.7 millimeter stretch cord. I know, I loved him. He was so good. He was like this season's Tucker. I think that was his name. Oh, Turner. I was like, it's not Tucker. Turner. If you watched past seasons and you saw Turner, who I heart Turner. Turner is very similar to Quinn, so very similar vibes. Okay, so we're using 0.7 millimeter stretch cord. I'm going to use about 12 inches or so of it. Go ahead and cut that off. I would recommend not going any smaller than 0.7. You can even go up to a 1 millimeter if you want, but I keep it at the 0.7 to 1 millimeter just to accommodate for the hole in the size of the beads. Now, obviously, if you go for a smaller bead, you may need to adjust your cord size, but you want to make sure your cord is nice and sturdy. We don't want any chance that our cord breaks on our customer. Okay, now, with all of our keychains, you do get the jump loop and the small split ring. That is included when you purchase the keychain. For this particular project, I just need the large one. I don't need this small one. So we'll just set the small one aside. There's lots of projects we do where maybe we need more than one, so it never hurts to hold on to those. Okay, so we've taken our little string and we've folded it in half. So just put the 2 ends together and it's going to create like a little loop here. We're going to take those 2 ends and put them through the front of our keychain hole. And then here is that loop we were talking about. We're going to take those 2 ends and put it right through the middle of the loop. So now the loop's on this side and these are on this side. And we can literally just drop the loop and it will slide down. And that's going to cause a little slip knot here. I hope so. I hope so. We'll see what happens in the house, in the jury house. All right, now that you have your string on, we can go ahead and add on our bubblegum beads. I'm going to put both strings through all 3 of these beads. So both strings through all 3, and when we get to the end, we're going to grab this large split ring here, and we're going to put the strings through the middle of that as well, right through the middle. Okay, now we're heading the opposite way, so we're going to go back down, and we're going to go through both the blue and the pink one. We're going to end our strings right here in the middle of the pink and the purple. So both strings again going the opposite way. I know, she seemed pretty excited, so I was like, oh, that's good, that's good. I was worried. You know, sometimes when you are apart from somebody, you can either A, find them way more, like you miss them a lot more, or you can be like, oh, I was just infatuated because I had nothing else. So I'm so excited for her. Okay, now that we have the strings in the middle of the pink and the purple here, we're just gonna pull it nice and tight. We want the string to be pretty snug, and we're gonna tie a knot. So I like to just loop it around and tuck it in, kind of like I would tie like a balloon. And then I just pull it nice and tight, and then I just do a little like left over right, right over left kind of moment on the front, and then I flip it over, and I do the same on the back here. Now you can tie your string however you are comfortable. This is just how I tie it. And any extra string that you have coming off, we can just take our scissors and chop that right off. Okay, so this little bit of extra string we can toss right into our trash. And one last step we have is that between these beads here, I don't know, let's see if we can see them. See how there's a little string hanging out here? We don't want that to be exposed to our customer, so we want to hide that in the middle bead here. And the easiest way to do that is just to grip the bead with 2 fingers and grip this with 2 fingers. And you're going to do a gentle tug, just like that, a little tug. And that's going to hide the knot in the middle of the pink bead here, so there's no visible bead now, or knot between those 2. Okay, and there is our beautiful finished project, guys. Look at how stinking cute that came out. I love it. Let me pull it closer. Look at that shine, that shimmer. So good, guys. I absolutely love it. Oh, so good. So good, Laura. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So that is our beautiful Empowered Women, Empower Women keychain with the pre-printed decal in the holographic. Okay, and we used some chrome flakes on the back as well as some gold and orange glitter. And then we added 3 bubblegum beads to it. I think it turned out so cute. All right, guys, who's ready to move on to our next project? Now, our next project is going to be the Boo Boo Crew. The Boo Boo Crew. So we're going to make the Boo Boo Crew into a little badge reel here. So I'm trying to get in the camera. The Boo Boo Crew. Now, if you are a nurse or in the medical profession, so stinking cute. I love this one. Let's go ahead. Now, typically, I will send it to you and it'll already be peeled. Apparently, I didn't peel this one, so here I am peeling it. Okay, now the first steps first, we need to determine which side is the front and which side is the back. We'll go ahead and lay our acrylic blank, and we'll lay our decal on top of the acrylic blank just like this. And you're going to hold it up to a light source. So let's say this is our light. We're going to hold it like this in front of it. And we'll be able to see through the white paper here to determine which side fits best on either this side or this side of our acrylic blank. Let me hold it up off of the camera because I don't have a light by you guys. Here we go. This is, let me just double check. Yes, this is the front here. So we're going to turn it over, and we're going to be working on the back of it first. So flip it over. We're going to take that brown paper off right underneath the layer of the brown paper and pull it off. Thank you so much, Francine. I appreciate it. Now for this one, I wanted to give it, since we're working with like these pastel-y oranges and pinks and stuff, I wanted to give it like an orange outline color. So I picked this beautiful orange glitter. Now this glitter came in a 12 pack of 12 different glitters from Walmart. I want you to know that you don't have to spend a lot of money on glitter. You don't have to always buy top of the line expensive glitter. Sometimes Walmart glitter, it's just the stuff that is perfect. So go ahead and make sure that your collection has a little bit of everything. You never know what color you're gonna need. And so sometimes it's best to buy little bottles of different colors so that you have a bigger range if, you know, it's not in your price range to buy all the colors. And then we're going to be adding some of this orange mica. Now this orange mica is pretty bright, but because this orange glitter is a little darker, I think it's going to even it out and give us a beautiful orange color. So let's see how it goes. We're going to mix some UV resin in our cup here. This is a 2-inch acrylic blank. So we're going to use roughly 2 to 3 milliliters. Now that is basically just the bottom of our cup here. It's not too much at all. You'd be surprised at how little goes a very long way. I'm going to go ahead and put my glitter in first. We're going to mix that up and I'll show you what it looks like before we add the mica so you can really see the difference that mica can do to your projects. Okay, so just gently adding some glitter into our cup here. We're going to grab our little brush and mix it in. Definitely feel like I could have added some more glitter, so we're going to add a little bit more glitter. I do try to be mindful of how much glitter I use, so I'll use less and then I'll go back and add more if I feel like I need to. You can't really take it out once you've added it, so if you add too much and it overtakes your UV resin, then you have to add more UV resin to thin it out. So if you're stirring your glitter and UV resin mixture and it kind of has like a gritty feel to it, or you feel the glitter in there honestly at all, then you've probably added too much glitter, and what will happen is your UV resin will not cure properly and you'll end up with like a tacky finish. So just be mindful of the amount of UV resin to glitter you put into it. Okay, so here is what it's looking like. I'm trying to hold my hand so it will focus for you. It's beautiful. Let me kind of get some to the side, but as you can see, it's pretty see-through and it's kind of a darkish orange, and I really want to make it like a beautiful, like vibrant orange. So we're going to add that little bit of mica into it. Now a little bit of mica goes a long way. So just be mindful, you don't need a ton. Just the littlest amount. There we go. Boop. And just kind of tap it off on there. Perfect. Wiping my little stick off with a baby wipe. Okay. Next up, let's mix in that mica into our glitter mixture here and see what we're working with. Oh yeah, that just really brightened everything up. So what I'll tell you with UV resin and mica is you kind of need to give it a moment to kind of like melt into your mixture. Takes a moment for the color to really melt into it and come to life. So just keep stirring it, maybe double as long as you would typically take to stir in the glitter, making sure it's all off of the stick that you put it in with, off the walls, and all of that. Oh, much better. You guys see how different that looks? Very orange in comparison. Let me see if I can see how, I'm trying to get the light so you can see it. Ooh, there we go. So much better in the color. Not so dark, but also not like a neon orange color. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to add that onto our acrylic blank here. You can dump it right in the middle. You don't have to put all of it at once. I like to put about maybe half of it or so. And then I can go back and, I can go back and get more when I need it. And then I'm just gonna pull it from the middle out to the edges. Yeah, I feel like mica is a really good method of making your colors stand out more. You don't get the like transparent glitter look that you do if you just add glitter into a UV resin. It kind of helps to give like a background color to your glitter. It's kind of like if you're a tumbler maker, and a lot of people will like prep their tumblers by making them black or white or whatever, or matching the color you're going to put on it. It's the same general concept. You're just adding in some color. You can also add in paint. If you like, instead of mica, you can add in a tiny drop of acrylic paint, like the 50-cent paint you get from Walmart. Those also are great ways of adding more color pigmentation into your UV resin / glitter mixtures. Okay, so I'm just grabbing my little extra bits out. Perfect. Pulling it out to the edges. She is looking stunning. Okay. Now we're going to put our blank and our cup under the lamp for 2 minutes. Typically, I don't usually hit this side of my acrylic blank with the lighter because this is going to be the back of your acrylic blank. Most of it will end up being covered by your badge reel, so you don't have to stress about like it being perfect on this side. But if you want to, you can always, like I said, hit it with a little bit of heat, pop some of those bubbles. If you're going to do that, that's perfectly fine. Just give it about 10 to 20 seconds for it to calm down and be done doing its duty before you put it under your UV lamp for 2 minutes. All right, trying to pick everything up and get everything ready for the next step. So the next step is we're going to decorate the front of our badge rail here. We're going to add our pre-cut decal on it, and we're going to add a coat of UV resin to seal it in. And then when we're done with all that, I'm going to walk you through how we add beads onto our badge reel, as well as what we call a badge button. Okay, we've got 2 minutes under the lamp here. We've got about 70 seconds left. What is everybody looking forward to this next week? I am going to go to a baby shower as soon as this is done, as soon as our live here is done. I've got a little pumpkin themed baby shower I'm going to, so that'll be fun. Let's see, this week my mother-in-law comes back from her cruise, so that'll be so nice to talk to her. She's been gone for a month. I get to celebrate my aunt's birthday tomorrow, so we're going to go out to dinner with her. So lots of little celebrations going on this week. Do you guys have anything exciting planned to do? The weather is finally starting to get a little bit cooler here in Florida, so I'm trying to encourage myself to do a little bit more outside activities. Ooh, well, happy birthday, Laura. That is going to be so fun. I hope you have a great visit. Okay, our time is up, guys. Let's take it out and have a little look-see. Again, with our cup, we can clean it up. Super easy. Just give it a crack. And all of that beautiful stuff inside will come out. Pull it out. Sometimes it comes out in little sections. That's okay. Just gotta get down a little farther. There we go. And this will come out. If you get any on your mat, that will also peel right up. You can just pop that right off as well. Take that out. Perfect. Okay. Clean some of this crazy amount of glitter off of my desk here while I show you what it is looking like. Okay, so here is what it's looking like. Let me grab, where'd that other one go? Here we go. So here is what this one looked like with the chrome and the black I'm sorry, the chrome and the gold and the orange glitter. And then here is the difference in the sense that this is the orange glitter with the orange mica. So you can really see that this is definitely more of a sunsetty, a yellow and a gold kind of tones. And then this one is much more a solid orange color. Let me turn it over and take the paper off, and let's see what it looks like without the brown paper on it. Ooh, look at that. Stunning. So similar, but very different in the sense of they both come off kind of fall vibes. Sorry, I'm trying to get my hands on them. But one is definitely more orange and one is definitely more chromey in the sense of the shifting. Beautiful. Both are beautiful. Both just depend on kind of what look you're going for. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add on our decal. Make sure it's not wet right here. We're going to use our transfer tape again to go ahead and transfer that decal onto our acrylic blank. Just center it right on there. Beautiful. Go ahead and push it down. Beautiful. Here is how she's looking. So cute. And that beautiful orange back. Okay, on the front here, we're going to add a beautiful coat of nothing but clear. So just clear right here on the front. Clear UV resin. We are using the resin from Resin Rockers. There's lots of brands on the market. However, that is the one that we have grown to love. We use other brands occasionally. However, I will always choose this one if I have it on hand. Again, I'm just pulling gently from that large glop I made in the middle there and spreading it out over the entire blank. I'm just trying to achieve a nice thin coat of the UV resin so that we get that beautiful glossy domed finish. Okay, almost done. I'm gonna grab some and pull it up into this area. Beautiful. Okay, and once you think you've got it, for the most part, all spread out, we can go ahead and hit it with a little bit of heat. I don't even take a moment to look at it and try to perfect anything in the sense of, like, I'm not trying to make this perfect right this second. If I see a big area, I'll fill it in like this. But once I hit it with the heat, then I'll go back and really be looking at it and seeing if I can make any small adjustments. So heat up here, light it, and briefly right across. We don't want to go too long. We don't want to go too close. This is flammable, so just be mindful of that. And then I give it about 5-10 seconds to kind of start to even out and spread out where it needs to. Now, once I've done that little pass, I can go back in, and now I can really take the time to touch up any areas that need to be touched up. So I'm just looking at it from an angle into the light and just seeing if there's any little last touch-up areas that maybe were not perfect. Okay, just see a couple. Okay, she's looking beautiful. I'm going to give it another pass. Let's take another little warm up of it, give it another 10-15 seconds to do its magic. It's going to self-level, fill in any of those bubbles. And then before we put it under the UV lamp, we're just going to have one last little look-see at it from the side. I can tell there is stuff right here missing. I think it's going to need just a tiny bit more. Boop, just a little baby dot. Right in this area seems to be struggling a little, so we'll just fill it in. sometimes if you're working with it and you're fighting with it and it's like, dude, it just won't fill in, then it might just need a tiny bit more UV resin. Sometimes if we're just a little chintzy on it, it can be lacking. Okay, much better. Again, I'm gonna hit it with the heat since I did a bunch of touching on it. Just hit it with the heat one more time to let it do its magic. And then we'll check it one last time. It's still like missing right here at the edge. I don't know what the deal is. Okay, I'm gonna turn it and maybe that'll help me see better where I'm missing it because it's right here at the edge. You can tell because it's like a matte versus the shiny glossy of the UV resin. So if you're looking at your piece and you see any little matte areas that are not shiny, then that means that the UV resin has not gotten to that area. And for me, that tends to be right around the edges. Maybe I'm just too careful trying not to get it over the edge that I miss the edge a little bit. So I just kind of pull it out. Make sure she's looking beautiful. Okay, looks fabulous. So we're gonna go ahead and toss it under our UV lamp here for our 2 minutes. Goodbye, Pam. Have a wonderful day at work. I will see you next weekend. Okay, guys, we put this under the lamp for 2 minutes to get that nice, beautiful glossy coat. Once it comes out, we're going to start talking about our badge buttons, our badge reel and how we can add on everything onto the reel from the beads to the acrylic blank to the badge button. So we'll go through that whole process as soon as this comes out from under the lamp here. Now for this one, I picked out 2 20mm beads. I picked out this purple one with the little heart and this fun little festive rhinestone multicolor one. So we're going to be using these 2. And then I also picked out this little purple flower badge button as well. So we're going to be adding that on. All right, guys, we have about 40 seconds left under the clock here. Time is ticking. We're getting closer. Thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. I greatly appreciate it. If you are enjoying what you're seeing, make sure to check us out at Third Degree Laser. All of our acrylic blanks are there. We have over 1,000 different shapes, including patterned vinyl. So if you're looking to make what's called a badge buddy, we've got tons of different patterned vinyl options. Here is our Hocus Pocus one. And then here is our seashell one. Or maybe you like our cow abduction or our bat abduction. Lots of different pattern vinyl options to choose from. Okay, our blank is done. Let's go ahead and assemble our badge reel. Take the little bit of extra UV resin off of here and toss that right into the garbage. Perfect. Let's have a closer look at her. Ooh, see that beautiful glossy coat? So good. So stinking cute. Here is the back. Love it. So good. All right, let's go ahead and assemble our badge reel. We've got all of the things we need. We're going to need this and this. And let's get started. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is take your badge reel here and pull the string out. We need to give ourselves a little bit of working room. So I take this little clamp I have here and I just clamp that right onto the string. I make sure it's got a nice secure hold on it. For any reason, if this string ends up going in there, we won't be able to get it out. So you really want to make sure that this is on there really well and the string does not have any chance of slipping back in there. And then we're going to cut off the little end cap right here at the end. And that's going to leave you with a little black string right in the middle of your end cap here. And so in order to get that out, we're just going to use a pick tool or a needle to push the black string right down into it. So push, push, push. And then we're going to turn it sideways. And there's a little triangle right here that's going into the middle of the end cap. So you're just going to stick your little pick tool down into that hole and try to scoop out the black string we pushed down in there. Okay, and if you find that it's not coming out, go back into the bottom and keep pushing it all the way down toward that triangle. That's going to help you get a better grip on it when you're trying to scoop it out. Almost got it. This part does take a little bit of patience, but it is worth it. And once you've got the little black string out, sometimes you can just grab it with your hand and pull it. Oh, like that. There we go. There is that little bit of black string. We can just go ahead and toss that right into the trash. And now we can set this little end cap to the side. We're going to pick up our string here, and we're going to use what we call the badge needle. This is like a little flexible needle. We're going to string it onto there, and then go ahead and add on our 2 beads. So I'm going to add the rhinestone first, and then I'm going to add the purple heart bead. And then we're going to end the end cap back on. So I'm going to go through the bottom and up through the top with my little badge needle, and that'll help me pull the string right back into that end cap. Okay. Now once you've got all that done, we can go ahead and set our little badge needle to the side. Thank you so much for your help. And now we will go ahead and start to tie it off. So you just want to tie a little knot here, and we want to get it as close to the end as possible, but like don't stress about it. It's not the end of the earth. Just to put a little knot in there close to the end. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to tie a second knot. And that second knot is just going to land right on top of the first knot or right next to it. So don't stress about the first knot as much. Take your time on the second knot and slowly close it so that it lands right on top of it or right next to it. We're trying to build a chunky knot. That way, when it pulls into this end cap here, we don't have to worry about any of our customers like saying that it pulled out or that it came untied. So a nice little chunky knot. Now when you're pulling it into the end cap here, you're going to feel it pop in twice. Once it's going to pop in, and then a second time past that little silver triangle. Sometimes you have to kind of like wiggle it back and forth for it to really get past that silver triangle. That's fine. And then if you have any black string like this hanging out the top, just grab it and chop it off with your scissors. Perfect. And this little black part we can just toss in the trash. This here is all we ended up losing as far as the length of your badge reel string, besides obviously where the beads are. So you're not going to have to worry about customers complaining that, you know, it's a short string or anything like that. And the last step is we're going to go ahead and hold on to our string and remove the little clamp. And then gently let the string back in. You don't want to let go of it without putting it back in, because these beads are kind of heavy and they can whip around and kind of hit you, so be mindful. Okay, let's discuss adding our badge reel onto our acrylic blank, or on our acrylic blank onto our badge reel here. We're going to use a little bit of our UV resin to attach it. Now, you can also use E6000 or any type of adhesive, whether it be magnets, low profile Velcro, E6000, super glue, UV resin, whatever you're comfortable with. I just put a nice little dollop right here onto the physical badge reel. And then I take my acrylic blank and I'm going to move it in circular motions to kind of spread that all out behind it, so that now There's a nice coat of UV resin all over the physical badge rail here. And now I'm just going to lay my acrylic blank on it and center it. Make sure I like how it's laying. And then I'm going to grab it from the side. I'm going to grab a UV flashlight and hit it from the side. Now this step isn't 100% necessary. You can just put it under your UV light. However, I have found that sometimes it slides off or it gets malpositioned. So this way, it just really allows me to make sure that the lights, or that the acrylic blank's not going to be positioned wrong. I just kind of am what I call baby curing it. It's on there, but if I wanted to pop it off with my hand, it'd be pretty easy to pop it off. Okay, so now that we have the acrylic blank on the badge rail, we're going to add what we call a badge button. It looks like this. It is going to go on the very bottom here. Good morning, Mary. Good morning. And we're going to attach it to the top little silver button, never to the bottom, always on the top. So a little tiny bit of UV resin right on that little silver button area. And then using my little badge button here to place that right on top and position it where I want it. Boop. And then again, hitting it with my UV flashlight just so that it doesn't move around on me. And I just hit it for, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds. And just like I said, quickly curing it just so it doesn't slide off and, you know, end up not being where I want it to be. Okay, so the last step we're going to do is we're going to make sure these are fully adhered. So we're going to put it under our UV lamp. What I like to do is I like to do 60 seconds on one side, and then I'll go ahead and I'll flip the entire blank over, and I'll do 60 seconds on the back side as well. Hi, Mary. Thank you so much for asking. Yes, the storms were pretty crazy. However, we're pretty lucky. We live on the opposite coast of the Gulf. We live on the other side. So imagine this is Florida. The hurricane happened here. So it had to go all the way across the state because we're over here. So we did get some winds, some rains. We got lots of like debris from trees that maybe haven't been trimmed, or, you know, something that was laying in somebody's yard that got blown around. We did tie back our fences, so no broken fences this time. That's awesome. Last time we had a broken fence because we forgot to tie them back. And yeah, just lots of debris, nothing too bad. My mom's cable line went down in her front yard, but they were super quick to come out and put it back up. I feel like it was back up within like 12 hours. It was so quick of them. So yeah, so overall we fared really well. Now those people on the Gulf Coast, especially Tallahassee, or anybody that got the direct hit over there, have definitely been affected, and my heart definitely goes out to them. There are 2 hurricanes out there brewing right now, so we definitely have our little peepers on those as well, hoping that they don't come over towards us. But so far, knock on wood, we've had an okay hurricane season. It hasn't been too horrible. So we'll see. We'll see. We still have a couple weeks here that we're in prime hurricane season. November 1st roughly ends hurricane season for us. So we just kind of have to hold our breath and get to November. But thank you so much for asking. I really appreciate it. All right, guys, we have 10 seconds left under here. If you are just jumping in and maybe missed our first project, I'll go ahead and show you that, as well as this one when it's finished. I'll show you it as well. We've got about 50 seconds left. No, that shouldn't be right. About 10 seconds left. I don't know why it restarted for some reason. Thank you so much. Yes, very, very thankful that we are safe. Okay, I think we are good. Let's pull it out and button it up. Let's have a look at the finished project. I'm so excited. Look at how cute. The little boo-boo crew. Stop. She is so sweet. Look at the orange. And then the purple. And this like pastel one matches so good. I love it with the little heart. So cute if you're like a NICU nurse, or maybe you work with little ones or adults. Let me tell you, I'm an adult. If I saw somebody with this, I would be like, yes, it's so cute. So that is our bad drill that we made today. And here is the other one we made. We made this beautiful Empowered Women, Empower Women. We used our holographic vinyl. And then here is the back. We use those beautiful sunset chrome flakes. So it's kind of got this orange / yellow, all the colors of the sunset kind of reflecting. And then we added some gold and orange glitter into the mixture. So beautiful for that one, and the beads look so good. So this is what we were able to create today, guys. I want to say thank you to everybody who joined us. It means the world to me to have you guys come and watch me. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. I'll try my best to answer you. And if not, we will see you next Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll be doing 2 more projects. I know, I can't believe it's almost October. Yes, save the boobies. Thank you so much, you guys. I hope everybody has a fabulous weekend. Oh, yay, V. Well, I'm so glad. Make sure to check us out. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll be back next Saturday, guys. Have a great one. Bye.